morning. My name is Sharon, and I'll be at MC this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before I begin, oops, did anybody leave a ninja last Sunday? Check your arm. Check your hand. No? Nobody? Okay. I thought there were, okay, so we'll be in the office. Okay, welcome to today's Makawao Hongwanji Dharma family service. Let us begin the service by singing the Bandana Tisarana, which will be on the screen or in your book. Okay? All right, please rise.
Just as an explanation, my computer thinks something Sharon is saying is asking Siri a question. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
So there's probably a way to turn that on. Namo tassa
Please be seated. We'll now chant the sutra, Jusei, the verses reaffirming the vow, which is in the red service book on page 55. You need your book.
Yes, if you don't have a book, it takes 10 seconds to go grab one of these, and I'll see if I can turn Siri off.
Today, Reverend Carey. Oh. Oops, sorry.
Siri, turn yourself off.
You'll be giving instructions on how to chant the sutra.
Okay. We need someone under the age of 14 to do the computer thing because I don't know how to turn Siri off anyway. So, thank you very much. So, everybody has a book. Yeah. So, one of the questions that does come up, sutra chanting. Thank you, Siri. Why chant? Why do we even bother chanting the sutras? So just a real quick briefing. We do this is transmitting the teachings. After the historical Buddha died, after Shakyamuni Buddha died, for 100 years, the words of the Buddha were communicated and transmitted orally. There was no writing system. Paper, wood, whatever, it would disappear in the wet, humid weather of India. So the only way to do it was to memorize it and then to transmit it by chanting. So the oral transmission of the words of the Buddha, right, for 100 years before they were written down. And we continue this tradition today. It's part of monastic discipline. If you're going to be a monk, you have to memorize the words of the Buddha so that you can understand them. So you have to chant constantly. So if in the Jodo Shinshu tradition, if you chanted all the important ones, it would take an hour and a half. So all 4 of the scrolls up there, you'd have to plow through all of them 6 times a day. But we won't talk about that. It's a way to study the Dharma because by memorizing the words of the Buddha, you understand the words of the Buddha. Later on, particularly in the Mahayana tradition, becomes a virtuous act. By doing certain things, you build virtue and you get to be born in the pure mind. It's kind of the old school approach. So offering of incense is one, praising the Buddha, which is why the book is called Praising Amida's Virtues. This is one of the ways you score karma points, basically. Also, importantly, it's the practice of harmony. Right? You can't chant if you want to be the soloist. Right? There's a leader and there's a follower, but that I just do one or two lines. We all have to chant together, and it's an exercise in that. If you think of chanting not as a religious practice, but as meditation, think of it this way. Chanting is a way to calm the mind, right? To center the body. And it has no real goals. Particularly in Jodo Shinshu tradition, chanting has no goal. You don't gain anything by chanting. So it's not a magical incantation. By chanting the sutras, I don't have any magical powers. There's no transfer of merit. I chant the sutras an hour a day, and I can't transfer that to you. It doesn't work that way. And we certainly don't do it for the repose of the souls of the departed. Although we like to think that way sometimes. Chanting, particularly in the Hongwanji tradition, is Sangha-centric. Like lay people get to do this. We chant together. It's just in some traditions, only the priest, that would be me, is allowed to chant the sutra. Or do invocations or incantations, that sort of thing. But in Jodo Shinshu tradition, we chant together. This is the only practice you might have. So physically, the sutra book, your Japanese ministers in Japan will tell you that this is the words of the Buddha, this is the Dharma, this is the Buddha. You don't put it down on your chair where your butt goes. In our pews, it's not very realistic because there's no place to put it except your lap. But in Japan, for example, you would always be holding it with two hands as much as possible. So when you pick up the sutra book, it should be facing you, two hands, 45-degree angle. It should be parallel to the ground. And when we do it correctly, we all do it together. Slowly come up to approximately 85 degrees, not 90, not more than 90, 85 degrees, and then a slight bow of the head saying that I am going to receive the teachings. Then back down with two hands, open it up to the appropriate page, and then it's down in your lap. And then the leader does the leader line, and everybody comes in at the same time. That's the idea. And at the end, you follow me again, so we'll finish the sutra, and we will close the book together. We will raise the book to our foreheads together. We'll put the book down, then we will show Namandas. So that's the basic idea. That's the basic idea. So if you're doing it correctly, it becomes a controlled breathing. Think of it as meditation. We're breathing at the same time. To do this correctly, we're all breathing at the same time, the same hour. And it is chanting, not singing. So the difference between chanting is the sound comes from here. If you're singing, an opera singer will tell you it comes from the head. So that's the difference. If you try to sing the sutra, it sounds weird because it wasn't designed for that. In Japanese, it's actually called reading the sutra, dokuju. So we do dokuju, we read the sutras. So anyway, that's just a super basic introduction to chanting, which hopefully some of you are familiar with. So we'll just jump straight into it. Again, the leader rings the bell twice, bong, bong, does the first line. If you're looking at the words, the underline means two beats. So it's ga, bon, cho, se, ga, ji, shi, etc. So the last syllable is extended a bit. And that's really it. So we'll try to do that. So imagine that Floyd has just finished ringing the bell. Dum 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 dum. Bong, bong, bong. Then the chanting leader rings the big gong twice. Gong, gong, and then starts the leader. So in Japan, that's what you're going to see. So let's practice picking up the book together. And then in theory, you would place it in a lap like this. Of course, I failed to mark the page, so I have to find it.
54.
50, sorry?
54.
Where's
55.
Didn't bring my glasses either. That's kind of a problem. You get used to seeing this stuff on the computer screen. I make the letters bigger. Okay, there we go. Then we gasho together. And we say the numbers together. Not mantra, it's not mantra. It's not mantra.
Okay, now we'll sit in quiet meditation.
So let's sit together quietly for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you are able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Sit up straight and align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. In and out. As you breathe in, you'll feel energy filling your body. And as you breathe out, any stress or worries in your mind just fade away. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation.
We would like to encourage everyone to offer incense at this time. The offering of incense is an ancient rite of purification of mind and body in preparation to hear the Dharma teachings. Offertory or making donations and offerings to the temple is a practice of dana, the first of 6 paramita perfections in Mahayana Buddhism. Thank you very much. Let's read the Golden Chain of Love, which will be found on the screen. Please rise. Let us begin. I am a link in a limitless golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must
keep my faith bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May everything in the neatest golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Now on the office.
Okay, please be seated. Okay, now, thank you, and we'll now have the children's Dharma story time.
Maybe. Well, good morning, and aloha kakahiaka. Hey, Sensei, I can't see the slides. Well, don't look at me, dude. Okay, so anyway, good morning. Normally I'd be reading the names of all the children here, but I forgot the slides. So we're not going to do that. So let me just introduce Lucy Ladybug here. Well, good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to see all of you today. And so we'll just jump straight into the story because we have a really good one today. It's called The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson and illustrated by Rafael Lopez. Okay, go full screen. Thank you very much. The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. This book is dedicated for Sia, Mel, and Josie, and that's from JW. To Santiago, Moon Whisperer, and that's from RL. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way the words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. Rigoberto, from Venezuela, your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming, the first bright notes of a song. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller, when the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer?" Tell the class your story. "We went to France," Shayla says. "These shells come from a beach in Maine. A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells so fragile, they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina. Each souvenir, a small triumph of a journey. Their travels going on and on." And as you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb, and your days spent at home caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen asleep. And in that room, where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love as you do. When even your own friend, Nadia, will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat and kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. There will be times when the climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, and the game isn't one that you can ever really play. I don't want him on our team. You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later. There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't yet know what you're ready for. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my little sister. You tell the class, your voice stronger than it was a minute ago. Reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. And all at once, in the room where no one else is quite like you, the room opens itself up a little wider to make some space for you. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you, and something else so fabulously not like you at all. The end. And Jacqueline Woodson has written a number of other books which have received a lot of critical praise, so look those up. And that was the story, The Day You Begin, by Jacqueline Woodson, and illustrated by Rafael Lopez. Wow, hey, wasn't that a great story? Hey, Clyde, Temple President, what part of the story do you like? Really? I love that part too! Wow, me and Clyde like the same part of the story. I like the story part where it starts. If you start sharing your stories, people start understanding who you are. They're not going to be exactly like you, but we're all different. That's what makes it fun. And it's much more fun to understand why we're different than otherwise, because no matter how hard I try, I'm never going to be a ladybug. Ain't that right, Lucy? Well, that's right. You know, I tried to help you, but that's okay. You're a rascal dog, and that's why I love you. So, Sensei had written something else down, but he can't remember what it is. so I think we should. Usually the shtick is we go someplace to go something to eat. So let's see. Let's go to the social hall and steal all the refreshments before everybody else shows up. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, be good. And you're supposed to say, but not too much. Okay guys, be good.
But not too much.
But not too much. Okay. We're getting closer, but the technology is still a bit of a challenge. So be good, but not too much. Oh, that's right. I was going to make a joke about wearing the duckbill mask. If we ever have to really start wearing N95s again, like forever and ever, get this one. It looks really weird, but it's the most comfortable one I found so far. But it also makes for lots of duck jokes.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Now you'll give your Dharma talk to us.
I sure hope so.
I hope so too.
Good morning. This morning, I'd like to talk about creating refuge, the idea of creating refuge in the midst of chaos. And just like that, I think like a lot of people, I've been struggling with the adjustment to the idea that public health directives that we've been following for 2 years, right? Just like that, poof, they're going to disappear. The indoor mask mandate, right, in the state of Hawaii, is going to disappear on the 26th, so it's a couple of weeks from now. So just imagine this, from the 26th forward, we're going to be doing this indoors. Feels a little weird, right? It's going to take some time to get used to it. But just like that, everything is going to change again. So new adjustments, that we have to make. But as Yogi Berra has famously said, it ain't over till it's over. Today, this day, in the United States, about 1,500 people will die from COVID-19. Today, in the United States, there are 25 million children under the age of 5, and thus they're not able to receive the vaccine. Today, in the United States, there are millions of people who are unable to receive the vaccine due to immune system or other medical challenges. Today, around the world, there are millions of people who don't have access to vaccines. And the virus, we know, is still running around causing suffering for people. So yes, it ain't over till it's over. And if that wasn't enough, armed aggression, nuclear forces on alert, climate change, inflation, a divided nation. Earlier this week, I looked at the gas station over there, where the mini mart is, or the minute stop, and it was $5. Well, but I'm looking at prices in California, and it's like $6. So I haven't gone out there this morning, but the price may have gone up during this past week. And of course, I mean, politically and socially, we are a very divided nation. So essentially, war, risk of nuclear war, climate change, inflation, divided nation. These headlines will make you crazy. And as an ex-advertising man, I like to share the dark secret of quote-unquote media. In America, you have to understand that media, this is traditional journalism, mainstream news, or lamestream news, depending on your political perspective, fake news, or fake media, right? Or fake news, social media, conspiracy theories, Hollywood movies, television shows. All of these media are designed and intended to agitate your mind, to get you wound up, right? To make you angry, and to cause you to want more and more and more. So the anger, the pain that you feel, you want something that's going to fix it right away. New and improved, extra strength, etc., etc., etc. Or whiskey or beer commercials, right? I mean, what are we selling? We're selling stress relief. You know, my stress relief it tastes better, it's less filling, or whatever the line may be. But we are selling stress relief. So when the communication objective is to sell a product or service, we call it advertising. When the communication objective is to sell an idea, a particular political idea, we call it propaganda. So when the communication objective is to sell spiritual truth, we call it religion. Yeah, that's me. The point is, as long as you choose to consume America in America, consume media in America today, your mind is going to become agitated. Your body will become stressed. Your body will experience stress. And your balance will be thrown off. So what to do about it? So I'd like to suggest that Buddhism has something to offer in this case, which is ritual. In modern times, ritual gets a really bad reputation, particularly in the Hongwanji. So for example, why did I explain why we chant the sutra? Because inevitably, when we chant sutra in Japanese or Sanskrit or whatever, somebody's going to pop up and say, it's boring. I don't understand the words. If chanting the sutra doesn't make me Buddha in this body and this life, I'm not going to do it. Prove to me that it works. Prove to me first that it works, and then I'll do it. Chanting makes me look stupid. Let's do something that makes me look cool. Right, so one observation, of course, is that these criticisms of chanting are very self-centered, very egocentric. Like, what will people think of me? Will I look cool if I do this? Will I become the Buddha if I do this? And until the Shin tradition, we tell you, no, it doesn't work that way. Which is like, then why do it? But interestingly enough, right, practice is popular. Like, oh, I practice meditation. I practice yoga. I practice veganism. Right? You should too. All of these things are always like, I do this, I'm good, you don't, you're not good, or I'm better than you. And ironically, all of these practice-based movements all derive from Buddhism. And during the pandemic, right, self-care became the super popular buzzword. Self-care. It's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay not to be okay. Whether it's baking bread or exercising on a Peloton machine or yoga or whatever it is. Self-care actually think about it, describes rituals. Right? Something you choose to do on a regular basis, which becomes a habit, which becomes lifestyle. Right? So if I can get you doing some rituals, how many of you make a cup of coffee the first thing you do in the morning? I do. Without coffee, I'm not functioning. At least I think that. When I wake up and do the sunrise service, not because I want to or because everyone's praising me, but because it's something I choose to do. It is part of my lifestyle. So, I'd like to suggest some Buddhist ritual or practice or whatever you want to call it, in a way, to create refuge in chaos. It's really pretty simple. Right? Breathe. We often forget to breathe. Much of stress reaction is related to lack of oxygen. Centering the body, finding balance again, and then clearing the mind. Because every time you look at your phone, the TV, the radio, whatever, you're getting bombarded with these messages which are designed to mess up your head. We need to clear the brain. How do you do that? Specifically, Jodo Shinshu, put your hands together, bow your heads, and say Nam Mô Amida. This is the only ritual that we have. And if it becomes a habit, right, it becomes part of your lifestyle. So, that's it. Right, Gasho, so breathe. Put your hands together, bow your head, say Nam Mô Amida. Nam Mô Amida. Or you can join me at 6 o'clock in the morning for a sunrise service, and then 8:30 for Chandala Shoshinga. And if you really want to get crazy, we can do Ojo Raisan, which I'm going to do one of these days just because it's so crazy. It's about 3 hours. And in theory, you're supposed to do Ojo Raisan 6 times a day. 2 o'clock, what was it? 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. At Honza, if you're a junior priest guy in training, you get to take turns. Who do you think gets the 2 o'clock in the morning shift? So again, if you're a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist, yeah, it feels kind of weird. It's like chanting, right? If you're at Zippi's and you go, Itadakimasu, Namandatsu, Namandatsu, Namandatsu. Okay, raise your hand if you do that. Yeah, I do. I like the attention. The average person is not going to do that. In Japan, everyone will go, Itadakimasu. The Nam Mô Amida is a part, maybe not, but it's part of tradition and culture. But think about it. Before you eat, after you eat, when you wake up first thing in the morning, right before you go to bed, this is all you have to do. Because it's about breathing, it's about centering the body, it's about clearing your mind. So, it helps to have a focal point for your practice, personal practice. So the Butsudan, the home altar, is the focal point for home practice. 1 generation ago, maybe 2 generations ago, maybe your grandparents, right, would have a home Butsudan every day. They'd put the rice offering in there, they'd ring the bell, say Nam Mô Amida, do something. And, or maybe they talk to their parents, or something. There's some connection there that they would always do this. And as the generations went along, we stopped doing it. So I'd like to suggest adopting a Butsudan if you don't have one. We have a bunch in the back, and every Hongwanji temple in the state of Hawaii has a back room filled with Butsudans if people don't want it anymore. The ones that are really bad, we dispose of them respectfully. Like termites and stuff, there's no reason to keep that. But we have, there's one in the temple office which we're trying to fix. It looks to me like a pre-war Butsudan. Somebody brought that thing here before the war, which is quite amazing. Or, if you're really hardcore, you can join me for a sunrise service, Eitaiko chanting Shoshinga, meditation, reflection here, and then sharing your story. Going forward, I'm going to encourage a lot of sharing of stories, because as the story time books today suggested, that's when the world opens up to you. So I'll drop a hint here. Next Sunday, our guest speaker is going to be Claude Moreau. You remember he and his daughter got into a big boating accident, and she literally climbed a 50-foot cliff, barehanded, to go get help, and they were rescued and saved, and he's going to share that story. Also, next week, most of you probably know Clifford and Ruth Tokumaru. They're going to be coming from Honolulu for a visit, and they just want to hang out with everybody. Clyde actually asked Dr. Tokumaru to give a talk, and he said, nah, it's more fun just to hang out with my friends. So So good choice on his part. But yeah, come on next Sunday. Sharing stories. Sharing stories is key to human communication. Because the Buddhist temple provides a time and place and occasion for learning, spiritual growth, and compassion in action. So now that we are reopening the temple, this is a vision I'd like to go forward on. That this is just a box. So without a community without people, this is just a box. It's a very nice box, but it's just a box. Until we fill it with people, this doesn't become a temple. And so this is your temple. So what will you do today? It begins with breathing, centering the body, and clearing the mind. And that's the heart of Buddhist practice. So just gasho, just bow your head, say Namo Amitabha. And if you need to understand why, it's a 3-hour lecture, so I'll stop there. Oh, sorry, that was my last comment. Eventually you'll find your own Nembutsu. There's really no right way to say it. It used to be, today it's Namo Amida Butsu. When I was young, it was Namu Amida Butsu. Higashi Hongwanji still uses Namu. It doesn't matter. You will hear BCA temples, they teach it as Namandans. Namandans, Namandans, Namandans. Oh, okay, I thought of that. The Jodo Shu people say Namo Amidabu, Namo Amidabu, Namo Amidabu, Namo Amidabu. You hear me go Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. It doesn't matter. Amida understands all of it. You will find your own Nembutsu that you're comfortable with. And that's the Shinran privilege that you jump over. So basically, Gasho, bow your heads, no more times. Or just say Mahalo. I'll take that too. And I think that's the last slide. That's right. Sharon, you're back on.
Reverend.
Yes.
Tokumaras are coming the following Sunday.
I'm sorry, what day is today?
13.
I'm sorry, they're coming on the 20th?
The week after.
Oh, no. Okay. Don't listen to anything I said. It's the 27th. Let me change the slide here, too. Sorry. I'll have to tell Clyde Claude it's not next Sunday. Okay. Over to you, Sharon.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll be singing the Gatha on the Kusan too, and gratefulness along with Ms. Naho Umitani and Reverend Toshiyuki Umitani of Mo'iri Hongwanji. Okay, you may rise. Oh, sorry. Back up, back up, back up. Oh, sorry.
Oh, is it the Nembutsu?
Back up, sorry, sorry. Okay. Sorry. Quickie finger.
No, I haven't set up to do that just to throw you off.
No. Stress, no one knows.
Yeah, well, I'm combining all these automated slides with
Okay.
other ones. So.
teachers for their guidance through. Leading ourselves in gratefulness.
Okay, please remain standing for the singing of the Nembutsu.
Those who truly attain Shinjin as they utter Amida's name, being mindful of the good thought always, wish to respond to the great benevolence. The wisdom of Shinran Shonin, which you can find in verse 1 of the Hymns of the Pure Land, collected works of Shinran, volume 1, page 32. Now,
Okay, please be seated. Reverend Carol will now lead us in the gratitude meditation.
let's sit together quietly to conclude the service. So just relax and get comfortable. If you're able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Sit up straight, align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, think of something for which you are grateful. And as you breathe out, just say mahalo. Just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation.
Okay, once again, thank you very much for joining our daily sunrise service today.
Sunrise. Sunday.
Sunday service. Because the sun has already risen.
Good thing, too.
I just want, may your day filled with, I guess you're supposed to say this, right, Sensei?
Yeah, it's from my morning slides.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, anyway, mahalo.
That's good.
Announcements?
Next one's announcements, right? I think we just, does anybody have any announcements? We just have kind of the normal ones.
Karen?
We're still continuing our food bank collection
Ah, okay, food bank collections.
Good way.
Until the end of the month, I
until the
believe.
end of the month. The 31st.
Very good.
Cereal, packaged goods, as well as canned.
Very good. Oh, and I just magically corrected the slide. It's actually the 27th, Sunday, when we'll have Clifford and Ruth coming to join us. And then also I need to reschedule Claude, so hopefully he's not going to show up next Sunday prepared to do this. Okay, so next Sunday should be just a regular service. One thing, just again to put this in everyone's head, April 3rd, the first Sunday of April will be Hanamatsuri here at Makawao. Traditionally, it has been the joint Hanamatsuri thing, but we're flipping the dates this year. So this is a major service. We will have the Hanamido, the flower palace set up. They will be set up to do the bathing of the baby Buddha. We'll share that story. And also look forward to a special presentation by our Dharma school students. So Auntie Sharon and Auntie Karen have something interesting cooking. Be ready for that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. If not, Berkeley will make something up for you. So. And then, yeah, so we have the live streaming of the daily services. These are actually now open in person. If you're an early riser, come at 6:30, we can chat together. Also 8:30 every day. I'm trying every day to do the Shoshingen. I may shift this to a little bit later in the morning, and maybe an afternoon session. Columbarium is open, and this is the slide to say thank you. So that's it. Sorry. Let's say, does anybody else have any announcements? Nope. Maybe you're not selling more peach wheat or something like that. Okay, so then that's it. So thank you very much, and we just roll into the credits. We're done.
Okay, and join us in the social hall for first meeting.
Slapping the slides together.
So Claude's gonna come and do it.
We have